On the subject of enderisms, though, there's been quite a lot of celebration in the last few days, and we should take wins, even if they're not full-on wins. But did you see that the NHS has basically
What a
said that they're
draw
not?
then.
Well, the NHS is saying they're not prescribing puberty blockers now to 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 people on the NHS, to kids basically, and that in itself is great,
Yeah.
and everyone's celebrating it, thinking that it's basically almost like a legislation has been passed, but it isn't. The NHS are just referring these people to private clinics.
Oh, did we have
Um,
this before when it come out and it sounded
yeah,
like the
did
transgender thing?
with Tavistock. Yeah,
Tavistock,
with
yeah.
Tavistock, they were like, Tavistock's closing down. Isn't it amazing? It's like, yeah, they're just downgrading and opening up another six that are smaller. It's not the same as closing it down. But but it was Sophie Otway that pointed that out. That actually, what they're doing is they're now just referring to private clinics and to gender GPs, which are like a specific one, whatever that means. 200. Um, and so actually, yes, the NHS not doing it is a win. And in this realm, we don't tend to take wins very well. Maybe we should be better at taking wins. But at the same time, before you sort of crack the champagne, there is a but, unfortunately,
Mm.
and that is that it's still going to go on in the private sector. Um, so
So basically, people are
watch
going
this
to
space,
be.
I suppose.
Yeah, well, so people, I suppose, are going to take loans out to get it done.
Well, there is that, but there's also the NHS is a weird one because if the NHS refers you to a private practice for whatever reason, it can still be picked up on the NHS
I don't
because
understand that.
I had it. So I went to the doctor when I had my groin injury, and I ended up going to get a consultation, and that cost me 200 quid. I saw a specialist down in Leicester, and it cost me 200 quid because the doctor was saying it was a hernia, and I didn't think it was, particularly because it just didn't seem to fit the symptoms of my uncle who'd had a hernia and other people that I knew that had hernias. And so I paid 200 quid to actually get a proper diagnosis. Plus, I don't trust the NHS because this was post Rona. Well, was it post Rona? It was just before. I was just before Rona, so I didn't even trust them then. Actually, to be fair, so I went, paid the money, went and saw the guy, and I went. I think I've got a hernia. I didn't, but I said that because that's what I'd been told by a doctor. And he went, "Well, you haven't." And I went, "Oh, that's all right." Then he went, "No, yours is way worse." And
I've had a hernia and they're bad. What was? Yeah,
I'd torn all but two ligaments off the bone
Jesus, what were you
and lived with it.
doing? Were you?
Lived with it 2 years. Playing football, 6 minutes into a charity match, I got put clean through by Alan Smith, who used to play for Man United, and my groin went bang. Literally 6 minutes I lasted to stretch it off. Um, but anyway, so I had to have the surgery. So I went back to I got quoted the money for the surgery, which was like 5 grand. I was like, well, don't don't have that, not got that, so that's not going to fly. So I went back to my doctor again, my GP, and basically said, this is what it is. This is, the deal. And so I was referred to that clinic. And so that surgeon who was charging 5 grand did the op on the NHS. And I
Oh
had
yeah,
the,
he won't mind because he's going to get the
no,
money
he's not
anyway.
bothered.
Yeah,
But the point was, because I was referred there by the NHS as
right.
opposed to just going off my own back, I didn't pay for it. So I imagine then that, and I didn't feel guilty at the time because then I was earning a shed load of money PT, which I needed my groin for, and they took a shed load of taxes out of me. So do you know what I mean? I did pay for it,
Yeah, of course you did, yeah.
but I wonder if that's what's going to go on with the clinics then. Whether actually the NHS will pick up the tab. They just wash Pontius Pilate it, don't they?
Yeah.
They just wash their hands of prescribing them. They're just paying him to prescribe them.
So he just rerouted it like when Trump took loads of money away from the World Health Organization and basically just give it to Gavi round the back of the
Who gave
garage.
who gave it to the World Health Organization?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.